I think I hit it too, exactly at 8 o'clock. Did we go live there? Minasan, ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning, from another cool, not cool day in Tokyo. another, at least the humidity's down a bit from where it was the last few days. The humidity now is, I don't trust this thing anyway. It said 70 the other day. It says 40 something today. There's too much variation. I don't trust this at all. What does it say? 34? 34 here this morning. We are in, as you know, the part of the building that doesn't have any air conditioning, so please don't bother me about it. The back window is open. The front window is open. We've got some kind of air movement. The ceilings are high. What you're looking at there, the ceiling here is quite high. It's, I don't know, I'm nearly it's 3.5 meters, whatever. But that's the concrete of the outside of the building. When you walk around on the outside, it's a flat concrete thing with some kind of water sealer on top, exposed to the sun. And that's the other side of this thing. So this room gets hot, hot, hot. And there's no point in air conditioning it. It's all just straight concrete all around. And that's what it is. It's the room. Nobody works here all day long. Today I'm going to be gluing up some pieces of wood and then getting out of here down to the offices. I was here yesterday separating. I was working on wood, planing and getting wood prepared for today. And I was also working on the final finishing of the blocks that you saw me glue up here last week. They are now ready to go out. They're not the best blocks we've ever seen in this business, but they are now getting presentable. Bit by bit, I'm getting better at this. It's not the best wood we've ever seen, but you know, you go to war with the weapons you have, and we're trying to get better wood. We're looking for it all the time. But this is the wood we have. This is a decent set of blocks. These will be the blocks that go for the 11th print in the Dreams of Future Past series, actually a couple of them. The ones I'm gluing up today, 2 of these will also go to Taran-san for print number 11, and then 2 of these will go out for print number 12. So with the blocks that I'm salting today, did somebody talk about this? The blocks I'm making today, that might give us now enough blocks to go to the end of this year's subscription series. So I'm sorry if this is not so interesting to you. We've now had well over a month with no actual Japanese printmaking on this channel. It is about to change. Chiharu-san, who is currently printing on the 8th print in the series, has now sent the blocks back, we hear. They will arrive here today or tomorrow. So my next stream Saturday morning will probably be paper preparation, and from then on for the next month or so I will be printing on all of these streams. So for those of you who have been a bit, tired that we haven't done any actual printmaking, that is about to change. The next month we'll be doing mostly printing. When I will be carving again, I can't even think about that long. Okay, this is going to be pretty much an exact repeat down to the gestures and movements of what we did last week. For those of you who are on this, there is our recipe, Dreams of Future Past 4 blocks. The recipe is 60-60. Last time it made it sort of just, so I think I'll stick with the same recipe and just run it through. I'm not sure if there's enough in these cans. I have a brand new pair of cans standing behind me. If there's not enough in either of these. So good morning, good morning, good morning. We need 60. It says 0. Let's dump some of this in here. I'm no longer going to worry too much about messing up the end of the can because we're pretty much at the end of the can here. So. It's now 50. Is there enough on the spoon to take us over the top? I don't think so. No. No, we're going to need to dip. It has sort of a slight epoxy smell, not dramatic. This is quite unusual stuff, and that it cleans up with water. 58, 59. Actually, looks like we're going to go a tad over here because I've got the spoon. I've got to clean up the spoon, so we're going to go a tad over. It says 60 now. It now says 62, so we've gone a tad over, but we had to clean the spoon. And there's enough left. There won't be enough left for another full round. So news, news, news. Do we have any news? So today's plan, and a few things to mention before I forget. A bunch of news and stuff. This is Thursday, the Thursday stream. I'll be here also 2 days from now for our Saturday stream, Friday night for most of you. A reminder again, I will not be here Monday my time, Sunday your time. I will be up in Echizen having a meeting, hopefully productive meeting with Murata-san. Oh, I've gone over. Oh, I put too much in there. It now says 127. Should I scoop some out? No, that's dangerous. Okay, gang, back to the orange stuff. How much do I need to put in? I had 62 of the orange stuff, which means the target would have been 124. It now says 128, so I put in 4 grams too much. So I got to go back here and put in 4 grams of this. No, it says 127. It's fluctuating. So I need 3 grams of this stuff. Right? I need 3. It says 127. I had 62. It now says 127. So that means I put in 65 of the white one. So I need to add 3 grams of this one, which means getting the spoon wet all over again. Ow, 27, 28, 29, 30. It's there, but now we got the spoon dirty again. Enough. We're okay. How accurate does this have to be? If you're off by 1%, 2%, 5%, does it still get good and hard? What's the margin of safety on this epoxy? I'm not going to fool around. I'm not experimenting, but what is the margin of safety on this? How much can you be off and have it still go nice and hard? Okay, I got interrupted there, I'm sorry. So the couple of things. Next Monday there will be a stream holiday. I will not be here. Hopefully I will bring back some interesting video. Although I've got to put a caveat on that. The meeting with Murata-san is not going to be about sitting there at the vat dipping paper. It's going to be business. We're taking up paper samples for her to look at. We're going to talk about the next year's orders, paper sizes, paper thicknesses, paper materials, helpers for her. It's going to be really a business day meeting. So I don't think she will be doing actually any paper making work. So I'm not sure what kind of video I will be able to bring back. So if there's something, that's fine. If there isn't, please don't sweat it too much. Someone says it won't matter in the hardness, it'll change the time it takes to cure. Again, the specific bonding requirement we have here is flat face to flat face. And there's no force on the planet that is going to get that apart. So even if the glue turns out to be a tad weaker than expected, that's not a factor. Why are we using glue that's this strong if it's not a factor? Well, we do want a strong bond because sometimes there's enough twist left in the wood that if this job is done carelessly, the wood will separate. And the blocks from Matsumoto-san, the guy in Tokyo who is supplying blocks like this, his blocks are famous for separating at this joint. He doesn't use epoxy, he uses a lighter glue. And his rationale for that is actually his customers are demanding he uses a softer glue, because most of his customers chop deeply. They will go through the surface layer. We usually don't. And this glue is hard. And if you're constantly going through the surface layer into the glue, it'll damage your chisels. So his customers have a different requirement than we do here at Mokuhankan. So we're going to use the strongest glue we can do so that the corners don't pop up. Having said that, I've got to qualify what I'm doing here with something. You know, I shouldn't actually be doing this here, today, now, in this season. And let me mention this, because people who follow what we're doing and are going to copy what we're doing. We've got a substrate. We're going to bond onto it some thin cherry planks. Now this should be done in January and February when the humidity here is as low as possible. Because these planks, although they're well dried, they really are well dried. You could make a miniature violin with this. Although they're well dried, they still are affected by the daily moisture. And because they're thin, they're really going to be affected. So today's a moist day. This piece of wood is actually going to be a little wetter, and it's going to be, I'm exaggerating, it's going to be a bit wider than it would be on a dry day. If I bond this down today on a moist day, it's wide, it bonds down. You then move forward, you carve your block, you move forward till to January, it dries out, it wants to shrink, but it can't because it's bonded down. And that's when you get cracks in the bonded face in your carved portion. I should be doing this job in February. We should really do this only once a year. January, February, when it's dry, bond down enough wood for the whole year. Why am I not doing it that way? Well, my whole life these days is firefighting. But if you're looking for me as inspiration, as a guide on how to do this properly, what do we say? Don't try this at home, or what do we say? Don't do as I do, do as I say, or whatever. Someone says the epoxy is curing. This is not 5-minute epoxy. This is 24-hour epoxy. I do not have to rush today's job at all. That's one concern we don't have today. Okay, if you bond it down when it's dry and the wood then picks up moisture on the top surface, wants to expand, it's much less of a problem. And anybody who's made musical instruments knows this. You would make your guitar top or whatever in the winter, because as it picks up moisture in the summer and wants to expand, it can't, but that doesn't cause the wood to change, to split. It's just sort of stretching internally. I would like to be wider than I am. But if it is wide, and moisture leaves those cells, then it can actually split, even though it's bonded down. So the danger of shrinking is far worse than any danger of swelling. People who make tables, violins, guitars, furniture, anything, cabinets. And blocks for wood carvers. Now, someone says it could shrink or expand. Well, it can't because it's glued, but the top surface of it, there's still 5 millimeters here. The top surface will lose moisture and cracks will develop, like crevices in a glacier or something, you know. Way down at the bottom, it's still solid, but up at the top, it starts getting cracked. It does. I mean, I'm not making this up. It actually does. If you wait till I've put this down, and I can turn around behind me and pick up a block that's cracked and show you. I should make sure I'm on camera here to show. I'm not forgetting salt. Thanks for the reminders, but don't put salt in there. I wonder if I just put salt in there, would it do the job better? Okay, back to what I was saying, the scheduling. Next Monday is a holiday for this stream. Other stuff that's going on that I'm supposed to remind you about. Today, we have a normal scheduled 90-minute stream. I have this job to do. We do have a show and tell. And it's a show and tell with a difference. I know I was teasing this to the mods a few minutes ago, letting them know. It's perhaps, I don't quite remember, but it's perhaps the first show and tell today that will feature more than 2,000 woodblock prints. And they are not match labels. $2,000 prints. This all happened yesterday. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there. It's a fun story. And as far as socks go, well, whatever. I mean, this is. I lost my toes yesterday when this box was opened and we saw what was in this box. I lost my toes. Forget about socks. Is this show and tell also 24 hours? What? Salt in wood joints is not a good idea. It weakens the joint. So, I know, as I said, the show and tell today will be kind of a special. It's a chance to see something you have never seen before. Dave himself has never, ever seen such a thing. I've seen similar things on a smaller scale, but never on the scale that we're going to see it today. And then after today's show and tell, we have another plan. I guess it's not a, no, let's just talk about it, because it's something that might be of interest to many people here. Our associate, Taran-san, is... At present, he's carving the wood blocks for print number 11 in our Dreams of Future Past series. And he's been active on Twitch recently. He's got his own Twitch channel. And Taran-san will be streaming today. He will be streaming his carving work on the Dreams of Future Past number 11. And he will be doing it starting at 9:30, just as we are finishing. So if somebody can remind me about this, and if somebody can teach me again what the command is to do this, we should be raiding Taran-san today at 9:30. So for those of you who are hungry for actual, real woodblock printmaking, you've got your chance today. First we see the woodblock being made, and then you can see the woodblock being used. And that's happening today at 9:30. So, as I said, that's the plan. Taran-san will be ready, as I understand it. And if you've got any breath left after today's show and tell, why can't he fill my empty Monday slot? That's interesting. You put that suggestion to him. It's totally up to Taran-san. That might be an interesting idea for him. Talk to him about that. That's up to him. I won't be here Monday. If he wants to jump in and catch the viewers, steal all my viewers, go for it. Is he here today already? Not yet. He's probably still, with his baby or something, getting the kid off to the daycare center. Taran-san's a daddy. And at the moment, he's probably like on the way to the daycare center or something. He can steal the slot. Yeah, it's like two competing TV channels with football games. Yeah, that idea then for Taransan to jump at 8 o'clock, he may not be able to do that because, as I said, that's his, I think that's daddy time. Anyway, it's up to you. Bring it up with him. Did I put salt on here? I don't think so. I don't know if this has much difference, you know. The point I want to avoid right now, when I'm putting it down here, I can feel the salt. I can feel it. But now that she's set. It's when we're squeezing here that I really don't want this stuff to be slipping and sliding. Whether this is having any effect or not, I don't know. Why am I buttering both sides of the sandwich? Well, this goes back, for me, this goes back to high school. Well, not high school, middle school, grade 9, grade 10. I don't remember the guy's name. I'm sorely sad about this because he was a guy, I remember his work ethic and his feeling and his nuance and the way he used to do things. My shop class teacher in grade 9. I don't remember his name. This was in Winnipeg. We're talking about 1964. No, 1963. I don't know, somewhere around there. He was at Lord Kelvin High School. That wasn't my school. I used to go to Gordon Bell High School, but we had no shop. So we used to, for shop class, a couple of times a week, we trekked across the river to a Lord Kelvin High School. Rain or shine, snow or sleet, whatever, we trekked across the river to use the shops at Kelvin, Lord Kelvin High School. And the guy, he was just such a treat, such a treat. How to use chisels, how to use hand tools, basics of carpentry. There were some power tools and there was some table saws, I think, at the back of the room somewhere. I don't remember ever using them or turning them on. That might have been for the grade 12 guys or something. I don't know. With us, it was basic stuff. How to use hand planes, tools, how to plan projects, and of course stuff like gluing, and how to put screws in. And no, that's one. How to use screws. My God, you know, probably, I don't know what to say. You know, a lot of screws, for example, have a screw thing where you put the screwdriver in. Then there's a smooth area in the screw on many different types of screws. And then there's a spiral area where the threads are. He showed us what this was all about and how to use it and how to drill a pilot hole and how to drill two different sizes of holes in your wood. One for the screwy part of the screw and one for the shank of the screw. I think the whole world has forgotten how to do that these days. Point being, this guy was the real McCoy in basics, fundamentals. And glue, of course, the idea was the surfaces should be as smooth as possible, the two wood surfaces to be glued. The glue should be as thin as possible. The glue should be applied thinly to both surfaces before bonding. Never, ever, ever just on one side. I mean, there were sort of basics of the craft that he went through with us. And Dave here, whatever, I remember that guy, I remember the stuff, and And to the extent that I can, I respect the things he told us. So when Dave glues, Dave tries to follow those tenets. Smooth, as wood as smooth as possible. Having said that, this one is not smooth, but what's next? Okay, we're halfway through. 2 pieces are now done. Yeah, I lived in Winnipeg in the early 60s. I can't remember exactly when, 62 to 65, something like that. Not that long. We were there for 2 years. Around 63, 64. I don't remember. We lived on Lipton Street. 57 Lipton Street was our address. This was in an area called Wolseley. And I think actually it might be sort of an upscale district now. I don't know. It sure wasn't then, but whatever. How's our time? 8:30. I've got halfway through. It looks like we're okay. We have lots of time for our show and tell. Although, funnily enough, today's show and tell isn't actually going to take a lot of time to show you. It's going to be opening the box and then, oh my God. Is that something the internet could find for me? What was the name of my shop class teacher at Lord Kelvin High School in Winnipeg in 1964? Oh, someone's already looking. The yearbook. 1937? Calling the school. Well, I'm not that. I'm just curious. I can't remember the guy's name, but I'm not about to call the school. I think somebody's looking up the address, 57 Lipton Street. I myself, one day, this goes back years and years and years now, one of the times when I was in Canada visiting my family, this would be, say, 15 years ago or something, I don't remember. I was visiting my family, and for fun with my mother, we got on Google, Google Street View, and we looked for all the different places that we had lived. When we were in Canada in the 50s and 60s, when I lived there, we moved every 2 years to a different location, a different place. So one day with my mom, just for fun, we looked up the old houses that we had lived in. One of them is now gone. There's just a hole in the ground. It's a different building is there. And one of them, the one we're mentioning here, 57 Lipton Street, at that time, on that day when we did this looking up, it turned out that the house was actually for sale. And the real estate agent at that time, again, this is, a decade ago or whatever, he had put a video up on YouTube with a walkthrough of the house. And we just stumbled on this on a Google search. So we looked at this and walked through this sales video of the house. And my mom is just like, oh, look what they've done to my beautiful old house. They had painted the living room black, and they had done this and done that. And she's like almost in tears. That was such a beautiful place to live, and what have they done with it? And it wasn't like we built it. It was a Victorian or Edwardian era house. So it was ours only for 2 years, but she felt possessive. Black paint on the living room, I've still got the video. I copied it at the time, and I've still got it on a file somewhere. It's a warning. Be careful what you can never go back. Be careful. Anthony, she was almost in tears. There's links here. Okay, I can't catch them all right now. Lipton Street, was it by a T junction? No, 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 no. Lipton Street runs north and south. It runs from Portage at the north end, south to the Assiniboine River. There's a T at the bottom when you go down to the bottom to the river, because Lipton Street can't run into the river. So in that sense, there's a T on it. And we were at 57, which is on the east side, about 1 block up from the river. And the year we were there was one of the years before the Red River floodway was built, or whatever they call it. And we nearly flooded. The Assiniboine flooded and came up Lipton Street. The houses at the bottom were all toast, and the river came up bit by bit by bit. Didn't get actually anywhere near us, but there was panic in the air. How far is the river going to come up? The flood would have been, well, we were there, was it 64 or 65 or something? And then after we left, the Winnipeg people, they built that gigantic floodway thing around the city. But the year we were there, that didn't exist yet. Kelvin yearbook is from 61. Okay, I will look this up. Thank you, thank you. Whether the same teacher was there the year I was there. But if I see the name, absolutely, I will recognize it. Just I can't pull it out of my database, you know. Thank you for these links. I will look this stuff up. It's only 8:30. I'm on the 3rd block. Ooh, we are really going to run out of stuff to do. I was thinking this was a full stream, but I guess I'm getting good at this these days now. But I've done so much of this recently. We're getting efficient at this. Yeah, put salt, I can see it there. Yeah, I can feel it. Oop, 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 oop. That's 3 done, 1 to go, and it's only 8:30. What has happened? Has there been a time slip today or something? This is my stream content today, gluing these down. What are we going to do? What temperature is it today? Well, in this room, it's actually okay. It's going to get a lot more. It's going to get a lot hotter this afternoon. Absolutely. A lot hotter this afternoon. Actually, this is funny too. What's going on here now? None of this is matching up. Last time, after doing 4, I had pretty much run out of epoxy. There's just this last little bit left. We've finished 3 here now, and I'm like halfway down the cup. What have I done differently? Have I forgotten to do something? I'm bonding both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why would there be so much difference? Oh, that's right, I mixed up extra. Yeah. About 10% extra, I guess, right? We were planning for 120. We ended up with something like 130 or something like that. Yeah. Okay. 10% extra. And maybe the temperature, it's just going on thinner than usual. I'm not too worried about that because most of this glue ends up getting squeezed out anyway. As I put the pressure on that press, the squeeze out is crazy, so a huge amount of this glue actually gets wasted. I'm looking around trying to think what needs gluing here that I could get ready quickly because I've got extra glue available here. What in this building right now needs gluing? Also, too, something different. This cup now feels warm to the touch. Now, for those of you who've dealt with epoxy glue, that's no big deal because epoxy is exothermic, endothermic, which is which. It gives off heat as it cures. But this is water-based epoxy. We've had this before, and I've mentioned it before. Nope, no heat, no heat, no heat. But today it is giving off a little bit of heat. Usually on previous streams we've been dealing with this in the winter, and this stuff is at nearly zero, and I haven't been able to detect any heat. Today we're at nearly the maximum temperature for this. I think the can says up to 35. The can says use between 5 and 35 centigrade. So in winter, we're a little bit below that because we're sometimes nearly zero in this room. And today we're 35. We are pretty much bang exactly at 35, 34, 35. So we're at the max of what they allow this stuff to be used at. What would happen if we use this at 40? Would it not bond properly? I don't know. Or is it just it becomes too liquid and you can't get a good spread? Salt is on. Oh, excuse me. Oh, Tony. Few other small tidbits of news. For the first time now in weeks, you can't see it from there. Oh, maybe you can see it. So there are yellow dots on the fridge door. There's a dot for today. Ishikawa-san is coming and I am supposed to take her paper out. The first time in months, and I forget. Just a sec, I gotta put it on her desk, one sec. Nanda. And then also tomorrow, there's 2 yellow dots. Again, Ishikawa-san is coming to continue that job. And Ayumi-san, who has been in Hokkaido for the summer with her family, she's returning tomorrow. And we have a job ready for her. She's going to be doing test printing on the Dreams of Future Past print number 9, the one that will be issued in October. She will be doing test printing on that one. That paper must have been sitting in there for a while. No, it's sitting in there since yesterday. She came yesterday. Ishikawa-san came back yesterday. Hello, how are you doing? Had a good summer, etc., etc., etc. She came back yesterday. She cut, trimmed, and got paper ready, moistened it, and put it in the fridge. So she returned yesterday from her summer break. Although it hasn't been much of a summer break for both of our printers here, for Ayumi-san, who's coming back tomorrow, and Ishikawa-san, who came back yesterday. There really wasn't a proper summer break. I have to be careful with privacy. Both of them are dealing with elder issues. In Ayumi-san's case, there was a death in the family. Not a tragic death, an elderly person's death in the family, which screwed up their summer. I'm sorry, I can't say that, but whatever. It changed all their plans, so they didn't have a normal summer holiday. And in Ishikawa-san's case, the elderly person is still with us, but needs more and more and more and more care all the time. So her summer plans, which would have been involving up to their summer cottage for the whole summer, that didn't happen. So both of the ladies who work in the room with me here have had their summer holidays disrupted by welcome to Japan. Welcome to Japan, the elderly care. I wanted the fridge door open a little longer. Oh yeah, I should leave it open. Yeah, that's not the way to get cool. Oh, that's something else. I'm in trouble now locally. I got in trouble a couple of days ago. I've got video. It's not teed up for you. I meant to get it ready, but I didn't. I've got video. And by going out to take some video, I got in trouble. And I'm not quite sure if it's going to end here or if it's going to escalate. I'm at the moment waiting to see what will happen. Well, I've started the story now, I've got to tell you. I know I have a sort of, can I say it's a pet peeve? I don't know. Something I see in the neighborhood here that really has sort of bothered me to the extent where I sort of feel I should be speaking up about it. The bars on the streets near here. This is one of Tokyo's most famous bar districts, and a lot of the bars, they have a building of their own, but they really put chairs and tables on the street in front of their building. Around the corner here is Hoppidori, and on the right-hand side of that street, all of the buildings are illegal. They're squatting. They're built on public land. They're built on the road. So one problem is that there's back and forth between City Hall and these bars to get them off the land that they're squatted on. So they're sort of, they're dark businesses. They're not a normal business. They've put these chairs and tables out into the street, and they've got sort of rain covers. When it rains, they quickly pull a frame around it with plastic sheets to keep people off the rain, to keep the rain off the people. On a hot day, some of them have the same thing. They pull the plastic sheets around and they use a sort of portable air conditioner inside. Other ones of these bars don't have the plastic sheets. They just put the chairs and tables outside on the street. And then what they do, this is the part that drives me crazy. What they do is they have portable air conditioners on wheels. I think you know the kind of thing I mean. People might use them in a workspace or a workshop where it's not really enclosed, whatever, where it has a pipe at the back, it sucks in the air, and it's got another pipe at the top where it blows out cold air. And they use these portable air conditioners outside. So there's tables and chairs outside the building. This cars going by behind you. The building is there. People are on the chairs and tables. And at the end of the row where the chairs and tables are, they use this box as a cord plugged into the building, and it sucks in air at one side and blows cold air out the other side. This is outdoors. Outdoors. And this is not one isolated case. They're doing this, and they're all lined up down the street. And on all of these restaurants, there's touts, there's young kids, there's college-age kids. These are not college students. These are kids who never in their dreams would ever get to a college. These are Boryokudan type kids. These are underworld, whatever, borderline, not so whatever type kids. And they're touting, hi, come and drink here, come and drink here. If you drink 10, we'll give you the 11th one free, and blah, 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 blah. Come here, room for 2, yes, ha, ha, ha. And the kids stand there beside this air conditioning unit, and they stand in front of the cold blast of air. This is before the customers have come. So the tout out there has an air conditioned, and some of them you'll see she'll lift it up and put it under her shirt. So she's got cold air blowing into her shirt as she does her touting. Come on, come and drink here, come and drink here. It's better beer than next door, and blah, 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 blah. But these air conditioners are outside. And am I an old geezer or what? This should be fucking illegal. This should be fucking illegal. Plug in an air conditioner outdoors, sucks air from this side, blows cold air that side. Also that the touts can be cool while they're touting, and later on some customers sit there, they get a bit of a cool breeze before the cold air goes out into the world and the electricity gets chewed up and global warming happens and we all die. It should be illegal, but it's all around this district. Maybe you have an image of Japan as an efficient, cool, well-organized, well-run country. Whatever. There are some aspects of the culture here. And there's no way, like how to stop this. The government already has guidelines on energy use. We downloaded the pamphlet from City Hall because me and the staff, sometimes we've talked about this. We have arguments, where should we set the air conditioner? Some of the staff want it down 24, 25. The room is too cold. Dave wants it higher. So because of these arguments, we have tried to get an answer from a higher authority. And the Tokyo Metropolitan Government is standing in for this. They have put out guidelines for shops, businesses, offices on energy use during the cold, cold winters and the hot, hot summer. And their guideline for the setting of an air conditioner in a shop like ours is 28 degrees. The staff, to a person, thinks that's too hot. They want to set it down 25, 26, 24, 25, whatever. We've compromised on 26, which to me, when I come in from outside, it's too cold. But after you've been there for a while, 26 sort of feels comfortable. 28, honestly speaking, starts to feel hot after a while, after you've been there. So the government does have guidelines on energy use, but there's no way they can dictate to you what to do. There's no law about where you set your air conditioners. Somebody here is saying 28 is too much. If we ask 6 people, we're going to get 8 different answers. So just one sec. Excuse me, I got to check this. This is looking good. I think I've got the right amount of glue there. I've got some squeeze out. A bit more here. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. Oh, there's one corner that's a little up. I can slide a piece of paper in there. Let's slide some glue into that corner. Just a sec here. Yeah. The base plate here is not really flat enough, you know. Okay, that's looking good. Okay. Let me get this stuff out of the way because we have prints to show. We've got tons of glue left. Yeah, remembering now, I should have prepared that video for you, the video I took. Anyway, the point about, I got in trouble. How did I get in trouble? The other day, not yesterday, 2 days ago, the other day, I walked past there and saw all these air conditioners running, grinding away air conditioners outdoors with no customers sitting. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And I just I blew my top. I didn't say and shout and scream, just internally I blew my top. I cannot just sit here and watch this going on. So I grabbed, I don't have a, whatever, this camera's here, but I just grabbed my iPad from downstairs, hit the video, hit the record button, and I took my iPad and I walked past these bars, zooming in on the air conditioner grinding away, move to the next one, the air conditioner, the next one. And the plan was, whatever, come back, just capsule the video and send a copy of it to the metropolitan government. They have something called the Kankyo Monitor, the environmental monitor. It's a customer, I don't know, it's a place where you ask your questions, get advice on stuff like this. It's the place we went to when we said, what should our air conditioner setting be for the office? It's Tocho Kankyo Monitor. So I thought I would take a bit of video of this, put it up, and just send it over to the metropolitan government. I myself can't fight this. I'm going to get in trouble if I do, but whatever, I just thought it should do. So I'm walking by with my iPad. I'm a tourist taking pictures, whatever. And one girl in one of these places gets real huffy. No pictures, no pictures, no video, go away. And she stands in front of the air conditioner like this, trying to hide it. And as I move by, she moves around. So she knows I'm shooting the air conditioner. She knows she doesn't want me to shoot the air conditioner. So she knows she's doing something wrong. And she's like, no pictures, no video, no video. And she reaches behind her and grabs the white pipe out of the air conditioner and comes towards me. We've got this on video. And then she tries to push me away. And I'm like, okay, at this point, I do not want to get involved in physical violence because these people are gangsters. All those shops on Hoppidori, these are gangster type people squatting on land that's not theirs, running all these bars completely illegally. They pay no taxes. They're not registered with anybody. All those businesses that back onto the Sensoji property. We can talk about it later, whatever. They're all squatters. And they're pretty kind of not pleasant people. So Dave here now has got this video. I just turned it off and walked away from her. So there was no physical fighting. I didn't make any trouble other than taking a video. But there we are, I just can't bear to see this happening. I cannot bear this. Running an air conditioner outside. It's 8:53. They won't be running yet. Come back an hour from now, 10 o'clock, when they're open for business, and all those air conditioners outside, all the way up the street on all those bars, will be grinding away, pulling hot air in, pushing out cold air, and nobody in sight. And even when the customers come and sit down, it's still like, whatever. They're making a fortune over there. They are coining money. The bar on the corner, I heard from the Kaicho-san, when it changed hands a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it changed hands. The rent used to be $600,000 per month. And somebody wanted to come in, somebody else wanted to come in, so the landlord put it to a bidding war. And the rent ended up as being 2 million yen per month. The US dollars, that's $13,000 per month. It's like a 10-seater. It's a 10 or 12-seater place with some chairs outside. And they're paying 2 million in rent. So whatever, it's none of my business. I don't want to be that old guy, get off my lawn. But just to see that happening in my own community, just, everybody around here says, Dave, just close your eyes, don't get involved. It's not your problem. And they're correct. The only thing that could come from me if I get involved, the only thing that could get involved is trouble. These are gangsters. These people are gangsters. So whatever. I should have prepared the video actually. Having that video in a Twitch stream put up on the internet. Let's do this. Mods, can you send me an email reminding me about this to get that little bit of video ready for the next stream? I should have had it ready today, but all the stuff that's going on here today, I didn't think about it. I'm sorry. Mods, remind me. Get that little video clip of the air conditioners into the Saturday stream. So someone's got it. If your door was left open a crack, you're air conditioning the whole neighborhood. Okay, that's finished now, but there are things we can do. What time is it? It's 8:56. Okay, tell you what, let me make a quick run downstairs. We have stuff we can do. First, here is today's show and tell. We'll get to this when I get back. Let me move this out of the way. Yoisho! Ooh, this thing is heavy. Oh my God. Okay. What we can do is this. You know the print we got from Kubota-san the other day, the two big prints? We've got to open that. Let me go downstairs. It'll take 1-2 minutes. I'll bring it back and we can crack it open, see what's inside, and then we can look at our magical show and tell. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be back in a second. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Is Taran-san standing by at 9? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. Good. This will be fun. A lot of stairs. Okay, to recap, for those of you who weren't here, this is a pair of woodblock prints we got last week. We showed these on show and tell. I'm zoomed out max. I can't zoom out any further. This is a pair of woodblock prints. These are big prints. It's a pair of woodblock prints in a frame that we got. And they were made by our friend Mr. Kubota about 25 years ago. And it's my job to get them out of this frame. So I think what I'll do is back up. Who's coming here? Somebody's coming. Can't be Hayumi-san. Just do tomorrow. 今日明日じゃないですか明日今日金曜日じゃないです。OK。仕事用意してありますが、明日でしょ ?OK。まあ、お帰りなさい。い
や、本当は今日までだったから。
OK。
でも今日何にもないんですよ。
あります。あ、今日来る薄いですからすぐ研ぎますから。Okay, just now I got to explain. Now say hello. Come say hello. This is printer Ayumi-san. Again, this is not the spider lady. They all say the same thing. This is Ayumi Ohashi. Recently became a mother with 2 kids, back at work now. She's in many of our previous YouTube videos. This is that Ayumi. They always make the same mistakes. So I'm sorry. You've been in Hokkaido, ちょっといろいろあったみたいですから。Thank you. Welcome back. 北海道涼しいでしょ。
すっごい涼しかったですよ。もう全然朝晩なんてもう寒くて窓開けてたら寒い。
Actually, what we read, Hokkaido was supposed to be, where she comes from, Hokkaido was supposed to be much cooler than Tokyo. But this year, 今年は暑かったんでしょ。
まあでも暑いって言っても多分、こっちほどじゃないけど、でもまあ北海道からしたらすごい暑かったみたいなんで。
Anyway, your first job. We have a printing job assigned to Ayumi-san. You're going to do 美の謎の中の作品です。それは本当の仕事。明日から紙も用意してありますし、板が用意してありますし、ですがその前に千春さんの次のアトリエセントのもののテストです。
これって私が9番私がやったのって7でしたっけ？一番最後。
そう。8もやってます。そう飛んでますから9番。板は向こうにありますが。
じゃ今日これ。
そうか今日は動作もありますし、動作このストリーム終わってから動作を用意できますから。その代わりにそれもありますから。
わかりました。でもこれの方が急ぎですよね。もう次だって千春さんが
急ぎじゃない。なぜか合わなかったんですから、千春さんに別の仕事も今出してばっかり昨日。だから10日間くらいかかります。その仕事は10日間の間に。だから今日もし今私とちょっと邪魔ですが、
大丈夫ですよ。
どちらもいいんです。
わかりました。まあとりあえずこれ
10日間ぐらいがあります。
はい、わかりました。OK です。じゃあはいありがとうございます。
Oh my God, all of a sudden, we had nothing to do with it, and so many things are going on all of a sudden. Sorry about this. Hi. Okay, what is it? It's 9:02. Okay, let's do this. Let's get inside here. These prints really have to be saved. They're in a beautiful frame, beautifully matted, very expensively produced, but that brings a big problem. Look at this already. On the back we can see the back of the frame is foxed and perhaps even moldy. It must have been put against the wall in a damp environment, no airflow. We can't leave the prints inside. There's foxing everywhere. The frame is totally sealed. It's glued. It's glued and stapled together. This is not an easy open frame like we commonly see. I really don't want to destroy this. It's a beautifully produced work. The prints would have been very expensive. They're beautifully shown like this in a frame, but we can't leave them in here. That paper, the washi paper, 200, 300, 400 years. This frame, decades. So we've got to destroy this. I feel we endlessly wrestle with this. It's hontoni something we don't want to do. Destroy things that are beautifully made. But to preserve those prints, they got to come out of here. They got to come out, which means chopping this thing up. The frame itself may survive. We've got frames all over the place behind me, stacked up, where we've done the same thing. And we've got contacts with different art groups who come and pick up these frames. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get these prints out of there. So this frame would have cost easily a fortune. I don't know the number, but easily it would have cost a fortune. So first, the paper. Staples, staples, staples. So I mixed feelings. I'm destroying a beautiful object that cost a very, very, very lot of money, but I have no choice. The priority is the preservation of those two woodblock prints. And it might mean this frame gets totally destroyed. Someone says, from what you understand, Dave has a working knowledge of the language but isn't fluent. Well, I can talk to people. I can give speeches. I can go on TV. If I can't read the economics journal of the newspaper, no, not at all. Where's the first staple? Here we are. Here we are. Let me show you. There's staples like this. Can you see it? There's little staples in there, and they have got to come out. 若い久保田さんの作品ですね。
若い久保田さんの作品。
そう。まあ若いですし、これ。素晴らしいものよ。本当にそれペア、白梅と紅白梅とか、そう。でもう額がだんだん変になったんですから、作品を保存するためにここから。
こんな額ってこんな貼ってあるんですか？
ステープルこれ。
釘？
釘のようなもの。これ。そう。
すごいこれ打ち付けてるんです。
そう。だから書いてありますよ。平成9年。だから若いといえば20代じゃないよ。もう50代ぐらいかな。Chat. Am I following the chat? Can I take them out, prepare a new back sheet, reassemble images, and frame them in an archival manner? Well, if we had museum-level storage facilities here, we could do that. I know lots of museums do have framed prints in storage. We just don't have the facilities. So for us, all we can do in common practical thing here is get them out of the frame, away from any non-archival backing paper, and put them in one of our admittedly non-archival plastic files, but as those degrade, we replace them. Is any of this visible? Okay, we're on this. We're half of the way through here. The framing mentions that it was a limited edition of 200, and this was number 80. And whether they were all framed like this, I don't know. Probably they were. It was probably sold as a supplement in a Sunday newspaper as a framed object. And it would really be fun to find a newspaper from that month and check what the price was. Okay, I think we're there. One left. Oh no, one row left. Oh, that staple broke. I need pliers. Follow the chat. Art staples. Two left. I don't know, anytime we do this sort of preservation stuff with old prints, I guess I'm leaving myself open to a charge of destroying interesting old stuff. I don't know. And we talked about this before, you know, the thing I'm destroying here is a frame. It's a useless piece of stuff with no redeeming social value, not rare. But the prints themselves are glorious works of art that need to be protected from degrading. Okay, there's all the staples out. So it's Dave's choice here, you know, to think about which is more important. Okay, here comes the back. Something behind it. Is this, look at this, something shiny. What was the purpose of this? I don't know. Was that helping to keep moisture out? You tell me. Piece of what looks like it could be art paper. I don't know. It could be archival paper. I have no idea. It's just paper. And then we have the prints. And they are not, well, yeah, they're taped in. They're in the corners in a pocket. The corners are in pockets. And at each side, on top and side, there is tape. Let's see if this will lightly pull off. No, it won't. So we will slice the tape for now. Another thing I've got to be careful here is dripping. I am dripping like crazy. So Dave, keep away from these prints. Well, I saved the labels. Of course, I'm going to save the label from the back of the frame. That's the only documentation we have on this thing. Okay, I've sliced off the tape. There is still tape on the paper. I'm not going to try tearing it off now without knowing more about what it is. And here, yes. Oh, there's full documentation on each print. Look at this. Look at this, look at this. Here's our documentation. I'm away from the print. Hi. Publisher's name, oh, it's each one. This is, of course, this is, I'm not sure, it would be Ko Umezu, the red plum picture. And here we have our documentation. Look at this. They've even got everything right down to the year. Hey, they've got Heisei 9, limited edition of 200. This is number 80. The manufacturing is the Adachi Hanga Kenkyujo, the Adachi Research Institute. The carving is, I don't know how to pronounce his first name. It's Nimi-san, and the printer is Kubota Kenichi. And the publisher is Bibam, the name of the publisher. And it's got where the museum where the original works are stored. I can't read it. It's Yama something Bijutsukan. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Well preserved. We've got it out of there. Maybe because of the backing stuff inside that frame, it might have been okay to leave it there. I don't know. I'm not an expert here, but seeing all that shimmy. No, look at this. Look at this. Okay, we did have to get it out of there. I don't know if this is going to show on the camera. The background tone here and the background tone, there's where the matte came. And can you see it on the camera? There's a difference in color tone already. This area is already started to fade. And there's your area that hasn't faded. The matting came inside and we have already visible degradation. So I'm fine. I'm fine with this. This had to come out of that mat. I'm trying to pick this up, not leaning over. I do not want to drip on these things, of course. The paper is thick, rich, rich paper. It must have been special order from Iwano-san, because this paper is way bigger than the normal paper that anybody would use for prints like this. It's the pair, the same lettering, the same markings, and the same It's not matte burn, I don't think. It's simply exposure, light exposure over how many years? This was Heisei 9, which is I think Heisei 1 would have been 1989. So Heisei 9 would be 1998. So these things are 27 or so years old. Can you see the wood grain? A treasure, an absolute treasure. I'm so happy to have these. These are now going to go inside a folder where they're going to be protected from light. Now let's just cover this up so I don't drip on it. Just one sec. Just temporarily for a few minutes. Hi, until I can get them in a folder downstairs. This was not our show and tell. It's now time to move on to our show and tell. Let me put this out of the way temporarily. One sec. Those mats may have been archival mats. The damage we saw was not damage from acidic materials. The damage we saw was from part of the print being covered and part of the print being exposed. So it doesn't matter what level of artistic or art quality or acid-free materials they use, light will do its thing. And if you've covered up part of the print and you haven't covered up part of the print, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now, that was the pre-show and tell. Here's the real show and tell. And there's a story. There are more than 2,000 prints in this box. And I've got to be a little bit careful with some things that I say. This is a public forum and whatever, I'm gonna speak up. This fell off the back of a truck. Literally. And I'm not even using that as a euphemistic expression. A guy drove up yesterday, parked in a no parking zone outside our shop. Said, I'm going to leave my truck there for a while. Is that okay? And like we knew he was coming because we had arranged this guy was going to come. He drove up with a little truck yesterday and brought us this box. It literally fell off the back of a truck. We know who this guy is. I'm not going to give you his name. In fact, we do know his name because of the bank transfer information. There's stuff that comes to light in Japan now and then in the junk dealer world. Junk dealers have access to old homes and homes that are being closed and people that have been died and they're cleaning up and kids that are cleaning up when granddad passes away and whatever. And with Japan's aging society, it's a massive, massive, massive business in cool old stuff coming to light. We don't know what part of the country these came from. It's gone from dealer to dealer because none of the dealers knew what to do with it. This guy who came yesterday, he has been putting bits and pieces. He's got stuff like this. He's taken one or two things out and put them on various international. He's put some on eBay. Maybe some of you have bought some things from this same guy. For example, he had a bunch of postcard prints. What did I do? I've lost them. Whatever. He had a bunch of postcard. Well, here we are. He had a bunch of pre-war Japanese postcard prints like this, and he was putting them on eBay in groups of 10. And every now and then he would sell something like this for maybe about like $100 US. So he's thinking that he's got this box full of stuff. There are 2,000 prints in here, and he's thinking they're worth like $10 a piece, because I sold some on eBay one day for $10 each. They're not worth that much in bulk. Anyway, long story short, we knew who this guy was. He contacted us a few weeks ago and said, I got some interesting stuff. Can I come and show it to you? And we're like, yeah, sure, come on over. So he parks in the no parking zone yesterday, brings this box inside, and he opens it to show us. And what it is, everything you see here is one design, one print. This is the print. It's the famous Hiroshige view of Sensoji. These are prints made for like the tourist market. They would have been made like this in bulk. They would have been pasted on the front of a little thing with an envelope. People would buy them ready to write a letter. Dear Aunt Jane, I'm enjoying my trip to Japan. I wish you were here. And they would put it in the mail. They're not postcards. They were like a letter set. Some of them would have been for Christmas cards. You'd put it on the outside. Open up, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. In Japan pre-war in the 1930s, there was a pretty steady tourist business. People were coming here on steamships from all over the place. And what this guy has found, has turned up, is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packets. Each packet from the printer's workshop sometime in the pre-war period. I'm going to guess 1935, 1930, 1935, somewhere around there. Each pack has 350 prints. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packs plus a bunch left over. He's been selling them one by one on eBay and local markets. And he's coming here thinking they're worth like 10, 20 bucks each. And he has 2,000 of them. Well, we bought them. How much did we pay? This was fun. It was a ton of fun. If Sadako's listening here, she's at the moment, she's clutching her seat in fear and terror that Dave paid way too much for this. Because Sadako, we went to China long ago, many years together. And we go into the market in China, and there's a souvenir we want. And we ask how much it is, and the person says, it's such and such. And Dave says, okay, and he buys it. And Sadako saw me do this, that in a market, I just simply paid the asking price because I'm not very good at bargaining. Here in Japan, there is no bargaining. You go in a shop and you pay the price, whatever. So Dave is not good at this whatsoever. So in China that time when we were there, anytime we wanted to buy something, Dave stood out of the way. Sadako stepped forward and she'd say, how much is this? The guy would say such and such, and Sadako would, you gotta be kidding, sorry, we're walking away. And the person pulls you back and away it goes with a negotiation. But I am no good at this. I grew up in England, Canada, Japan, where none of this stuff happens. So what did we do yesterday? Well, nobody wanted to put a price on the table. He's standing there waiting for me to make a number. I'm standing there waiting for him to put a number on the table. He's already pushed it up. He says, I've been selling them on eBay, 10 of them for $100. So each one's worth around 10 bucks US. And there's 2,000 of them here. So what would that be? If to take what he was asking for them, 2,000 times $10, that's $20,000. I did not pay $20,000 for this. But the negotiations were interesting, because what I'm not good at is negotiating a price, but what I am good at is trying to show him the immense costs that we will incur when we try and sell these. And he said, it's easy, you can get 10 bucks for this. And I'm like, no, we don't. We have to package it. We have to put this. We have to put a label on. We have to pull out the bad ones. We have to put a barcode on. We have to do this. We have to do this. Boom, 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 boom. So we had really, really a fun thing. I ended up putting my number on the table. And he's like, no, I can't even think about that. Can't even think about that. Can't even think about that. But he didn't go away. So, because the last thing he wants is to try and sell these one by one by one. Now, we have a shop, and it won't all happen tomorrow, but over the next 10 years, we have lots of patience. We will be happy to have these in our shop to be able to offer them to our customers one by one by one. Anyway, long story short, we did buy them from him. It cost me 6 figures in Japanese money. And the first figure wasn't a 1 or a 2. So that gives you an idea about how much we had to pay for these. We can afford this. We can wait for the money to come back. But another aspect to this now is starting to bother me. This is so rare, it's beyond belief. 1930 was the date I put on this. 1930 or so. 350 prints straight from a woodblock printer's workbench in the same order they came off, untouched, again and again and again and again. Now, if you had given me something too much to drink or given me some drug or something last night before I went to sleep, something that would encourage weird, wild fantasy dreams, I would never, ever, ever have dreamed up something like this. 1930s. This is 95 years old. Now, having a single print 95 years old is no big deal. We have dozens of those in the shop, hundreds in my collection. But an untouched, unopened package from a printer's workshop, nearly 100 years old. I mean, come on. I would never, ever, ever, ever have dreamed of something like that. And in order to get these out into the world, I mean, having them sit in a cardboard box where no human being can ever see them makes no sense. Putting them out into the world where people can enjoy the prints, the carving, the printing done by people from 100 years ago makes sense. They're actually really, really, really nicely done. They are beautiful little woodblock prints. But how much of the value is in the prints one by one to individual consumers, and how much of the value is in the rarity of the historical object of having a package from a printer's workshop like this? It's the same kind of question we asked a minute ago. I broke that frame with no hesitation because the protection of the prints inside was the prime thing that I care about. Piece of frame, it's nothing, it's worth nothing. That print should be preserved as carefully as possible. But what about this? Am I really going to cut that piece of paper, put these into the market one by one by one by one? I wouldn't chop up a book and sell the pages one by one. But is this the thing that I should be preserving as a thing? This pack, this whole box, is that the object that I should be preserving? I'm not sure about this. If I think back wildly to, say, the Edo era, if somehow an old warehouse, storehouse, dusty, popped up, and we had a package of prints from the 1790s, Tsudaiju Zaburo, there's a package of unwrapped Sharak prints. I mean, we don't unwrap that. We might unwrap it and look at them inside, but we don't break it up and shower them around the world. So I'm a little bit now nervous about what to do. In my mind, if I were a British Museum curator who was watching this, I think the British Museum would want at least this as a thing from Japanese 100 years ago workshop, untouched package that came out of it. To me, that itself is a museum object. So I'm doing this in public to talk about this, to sort of put the idea out there. I have just spent thousands of dollars on this, absolutely thousands of dollars. Should I be preserving it? What I'm currently thinking is we don't need 6 packages. Keep maybe 1 or 2, the rest of them. Put the prints out into the world where they can be enjoyed as they were meant to be. So whatever. I'll look forward. I haven't been reading the chat so carefully here. Okay, there's one really, really interesting thing that you guys who've been watching this stream, you people who've been watching the stream, look at this. There's the prints. If I show you the end, what is happening here? Now you know what's going on here. Some of you will be able to answer this. At the top of these prints, there's a black mark. I'll give you a big hint. They didn't use a spoon properly. In the corner, there's a black mark. In that group. The next group has the black mark in the middle of the print. The next group has the black mark at the corner. The next group has it in the middle. What's going on? And the hint is they didn't use a spoon. Vivid KP has got it. Maybe somebody got it before her. These were printed 2 up on 1 block. The 2 prints, it was carved twice on 1 piece of wood. The registration mark, some of them are opened up here, if I can do this here. This group that's opened up, There's the group with the corner. They were, of course, all together. And there you are. There's your corner mark, didn't get a spoon, and there's your central mark. So these two were together. We have the right-hand side version and the left-hand side version. And if we compared tiny bit by bit, we would probably see the snow is in slightly different places, or these marks at the bottom are in slightly different places. So they were printed two up, chopped up, stacked up, and that gives us these corner marks in different places. And the whole deck is right there in the original layout. From, I'm guessing, around 1930. Some says there's nothing unique about a bundle stack of prints. If they were printed during Hokusai's lifetime, it would be different. Well, okay, Mr. Who is this? Fly fish for fun. From our point of view today, you're saying these aren't old enough to be special. If they were from Hokusai's time, that would be different. We wouldn't dare break them up. But you just jump ahead 100 years. Jump ahead to 2125. Prints from the beginning of the 1900s. Oh my God! But for me to break them up now means they won't end up going that long. So your argument that they're not old enough yet, that argument doesn't wash. In fact, that's an argument for me not to break these up, to keep them for the next generation who will say these are old enough. And what I'm kind of worried about is that 100 years from now, people will see this video and think, oh my God, he actually broke that up and sold them one by one just to get money. Whatever, I'll be interested to read all the feedback. My current thinking is this. Current thinking is to preserve a couple of these bundles, and the rest of them, of course, send them out into the world where the prints can be enjoyed. And send them out with the backstory. Make sure the story, maybe do a video about this, make sure the backstory is known to people. Well, good question. What value do they have bundled that is not in the individual print? The bundle has no extra information. Well, it does a little bit, because the bundle gives you information about the manufacturing process. I know, you could even perhaps see, I haven't opened this to that extent, but you could perhaps see the registration at the top of the bundle is perfect, and bit by bit, down, the registration may move, the printer could adjust it. There's technical information to be gleaned from having a batch of prints that doesn't come from one by one. Anyway, the idea is out there. I'll be very much interested in reading people's thoughts and feedback about this. And that's enough for me. I have got to go and get a drink. And I believe, is Taran-san, are you ready? Do we have some note that says Taran is ready? Can somebody give me a hint on this? Our associate carver, Taran-san, is, as we speak, he is carving, here, live, here up, okay. Taran-san, as we speak, has got knife in wood, carving the 11th print in our Dreams of Future Past series. I've got to go get a drink. Taran-san is sitting there. Let's raid, what is it? Ginko underbar hanga. Raid Ginko hanga. Let's go over and see what he is doing. I'm supposed to wait for a few seconds here. People are building up. I've got a countdown thing. It says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It says raid now. See you there. Taran-san, in we come. And I now shut this one down. See you in a couple of days. Bye for now.